Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are here for our Denver Market Talk to learn more about the Denver housing trends. My name is Rachel. I'm here with the Prevail Group. We are a residential real estate group and we sell houses to save dogs. With that, I will introduce you to Amy and Kevin. You guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Hello,
I'm Amy. I am the lead buyer's agent.
I'm Kevin. On the other side.
He only sells houses.
Yeah, sorry, barely.
See, we're just not good at it.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome. Who wants to go next? Terry?
So you want to have Terry start since she's going to jump off here
Yeah,
a little bit?
that's okay.
Yeah. I have to head to another thing. Social distancing, though. We will be social distancing. So, hi, everybody. Terry Pettit. I am one of the owners of Max Waste Services. When we talked the last time, we wanted to look at trends and what we were going to see in the construction side. And I'm not sure if everyone remembers or not. I said there's going to be a concern with the supply chains. We are seeing that. It's been happening for about 2 weeks. I'm anticipating we're probably going to see it a couple more weeks, and then things will come back online as far as the supply chains for new builds and demos and all of that stuff. So I had already anticipated it. I was prepared. Contractors, I think for the most part, we're prepared for seeing that slowdown in the supply line. For us, we haven't seen actually a residual slowdown like I thought we would see. I'm still kind of leery about June, but I could be wrong. That's just what my feeling is. I've owned the company for 10 years. So I'm kind of focused on understanding what's happening with the contractors. I need to be, because it ultimately affects my side of the business. But that's what we're seeing on the construction side now. Maybe in a few weeks when we do another marketing talk, I will have a little bit better news that supply chains are moving, and I'm so busy that I will be out of dumpsters. So, well, fingers crossed. But so far, the residual we haven't seen. So goals for May are going to be exceeded. So that's what we're looking on the construction side.
Appreciate that update.
You're welcome.
Sarah,
Who wants to go next?
Sarah, I want to go with you.
I'll take it off. Sure, no problem. Hi, guys. My name is Sarah Flannery with Vertex Financial Group. I am a senior residential mortgage loan originator focusing on residential purchases and refinances. Since our last talk about 2 weeks ago, there has been some changes. Quite a few, actually. The first kind of change that we saw was rates remained still pretty low. We actually saw just a slight tick down in some of the rates for those past 2 weeks. The big two changes that I've really seen is Federal Housing Finance Agency finally laid out some updated guidelines in regards to forbearance. So on Tuesday, they laid out some new guidelines that basically give people that have either are in forbearance or maybe have completed forbearance and working with their lender on paying it back. That was originally estimated to be a 12-month wait period before they could potentially refinance their home again. That's now actually been decreased. If somebody is possibly in forbearance and they maybe are still making their payments or maybe missed one or two, if they become current on those payments, they can refinance. If they have already gone through the forbearance of 3 or 6 months, whatever it may be with their current lender, and they're either working on a payment plan to pay it back or their loan was potentially modified in a prepayment plan or something like that, waiting period's only 3 months. So those are some really big updates that we saw this week. And I've spoken to, as I work with 40 lenders, I've spoken to almost half of them, and all of them are honoring that. There's a few that are still a little cautious and kind of dragging their feet just to make sure that they don't kind of get hosed later on. But that was some really big news that came through this week. And then the last one, to not bore anybody with lovely mortgage stuff, but cash out refinances. So when people are taking equity out of their home for home improvements, debt consolidation, cushioning savings or whatever, we've seen a lot of changes with those. A lot of kind of unique overlays that we've seen with some of our lenders are requiring an additional 6 months of savings on top of the mortgage, like on top of the cash they're taking out, which has been a weird guideline. But we've just seen a lot of the lenders not love that option right now, because they're seeing there's been a trend, I guess, with people doing that and putting their loan into forbearance immediately. So they have pulled out of the market, if you may, and they've just basically made the rates very unattractive to do those types of loans. So may not be the best time to look into that option. But you know, that's kind of the most updates that I've seen this week in my world.
Cool. Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
appreciate that. Who should go
And,
next? You want Coe?
Say, Mike, do you want to introduce yourself and expand on what Sarah had to say?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike Cohenauer with Blue Leaf Lending. We are a bank, national bank, and can lend in all 50 states. I'm the vice president of mortgage lending here in Colorado, so happy to help on that front. I agree. Sarah's hitting it on the head with on the cash out refinances. Just the riskometer is dialed up for exactly what she said. There's been some folks that did a cash out and then go into forbearance within the first 30 days. So that puts lenders in a really tough position. So that's where we're all looking for, having that conversation up front. There's still even the opportunity to do the cash out refi and go into forbearance. We just want to know about it ahead of time so that it can be serviced correctly. Otherwise, it gets really goofy. With that, I would say kind of the timing of everything. There was just a huge refinance wave, 2 months ago. As I say, the pig is kind of making its way through the snake and working its way out. So we're getting close to that. In the next 2 weeks, most of those loans will have kind of worked their way through and get through that 65, 75-day lock period. And so turn times and all those things will start to improve. Rates are still fantastic. I mean, my phrase is they're the greatest in the history of ever. Sarah even just said it. They ticked down in the last 2 weeks. So, man, if anybody is looking to refinance, purchase, it is an amazing time for rates to kind of take advantage of the best of the both worlds. Lowest rates can reduce debt. You can better your monthly budget. There's ways to do that on the refi. And then obviously lowest rates with purchasing just gives you that much more buying power. So great time to get into a pre-qualification, pre-approval standpoint and be ready to go. We're seeing multiple offers going in for our borrowers, so they have to be pre-approved. And then a couple of things, I would even say getting reapproved. So anybody that's been sitting in a pre-qualified or pre-approved status, one of the things that came out this week is Fannie Mae is only allowing assets to be good for 60 days. So if somebody's been sitting pre-approved for 2 months and they really need to pick up that phone, talk to the lender, get updated pay stubs, assets, bank statements back so that they're reapproved for their pre-approval. Self-employed borrowers are the other key people right now. So self-employed in all of our worlds, kind of, again, that riskometer dials up. Are they working? Is their business back in business following the stay-at-home order? With that, we're seeing a couple of the major kind of institutional investors dropping debt-to-income ratios from 43 to 35 for self-employed borrowers. So that can have an effect on their ability to qualify. So anybody out there in that end, definitely pick up the phone and make sure that you're back in that status. And then finally, I would just say time is a friend right now, right? We're all coming out of staying in our homes. Everybody's starting to get out. People are starting to look for a home. So get with your lender ASAP, get pre-approved. Time can solve a lot of things. You know, if you find the perfect home and haven't done some of the things up front, it's tough for us to act and react really quickly, especially with a lot of the third parties. So call now, go through the process now, and then things are a lot better. We can solve problems today versus, oh my gosh, I've got to get it done in 24 hours. It's just difficult to get those things done. There's your update from my end, and thanks for the time.
I have a question for both of you. So what if somebody were to get laid off and then and they're under contract on a house and they get laid off and then 5 days later they get a job? What would happen in that situation?
Is it a full-time job?
Yeah, it's a full-time job. They've been there for years where they were before, and the new job is full-time, same industry, same everything. They just got picked up and is working for another company.
No problem.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You agree, Mike? I don't think you'd have a problem with that either.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if they were a civil engineer and now they're the Walmart greeter, going to have some challenges, but same industry, we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. I figured that was the case. The other thing that I'm noticing is, you know, if it's a really good house, it's going pretty fast. And then I think it's also location. So there's Parker and Castle Rock. I'm noticing houses are sitting a little longer, and I'm seeing a lot of price reductions right now. I have one client who's been looking there for about 6 months, and I'm getting price reduction after price reduction after price reduction right now. It's really interesting. So, but if it's a good house, which was one that we found and we were like, let's go see it on Saturday, it's gone. So I think if you're a buyer right now, I think you have a really good opportunity to, one, take advantage of really, really good credit or interest rates. And then also you may even have more options now than we didn't have like 6 months ago. So.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. Who should go next? Should we have Coe?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Amy, Kevin, and Rachel for having me. My name is Coe Howe. I'm with Heritage Title Company, and I'm quite honored to represent amazing real estate closers. We handle residential, commercial, and refinance transactions. And I'm very pleased to share that the title business is incredibly busy. Hearing a lot from my realtor partners that there are multiple offers coming through on homes that are priced right. So that's fantastic news. From the closing perspective, we are still in the phase where our closers are utilizing personal protective equipment, wearing masks, utilizing gloves. We are still doing curbside closings. Any in-office closings are still split, so buyers are signing separately from sellers. So that is all still happening. I am also happy to share that there's news floating through the air that we are going to be able to return to our office full staff as of June 1st.
Yay!
So very excited because our front lines that have been holding literally down the fort for the last few months, they're exhausted, and we're excited to be in the office. Not that we haven't been able to work together from home, but certainly it's easier when you're there in physical presence. One thing I wanted to share that seems to be a recurring issue that I'm coming across is a lot of people don't know that it only takes $10,000 to open a title company, which in our business means zero, nothing. You could have one loss on a transaction that could wipe out the company and they could close their doors overnight. So why is this important? Especially the homeowners that are buying. Okay, here is your your fair warning. I have now run into 3 different transactions just in the last week where the current owner is wanting to sell their property, but we're finding loans that belong to the prior owner are still against the property. One of them was from 7 years ago. Okay, there's a couple problems with that. Number one, in order for us to basically get a pass from the prior title company, we have to provide a copy of the final title policy. So all of you homeowners and or buyers, please make sure that you are saving a copy of your final title policy, which you typically will receive about 30 days after you have signed off on your purchase transaction. We had a case where the owner who's trying to sell, 7 years ago, the seller had taken out a loan for $150,000. The title company that did the transaction is no longer in business, and the current owner couldn't find their title policy. So without that proof that he had that title policy, he could either A, be on the hook for that $150,000 loan, or he'd have to keep his property because he has nothing to stand on. So we were fortunate that after several hours of research, for those of you that don't know, I've been in the business for 23 years. I was a closer myself for 14 years. So I know a little bit about title. And so I personally worked on this transaction for several hours. I was able to reach an attorney at the underwriter's office, and I call it good fortune or luck. I got through to the right person, and we were able to get a copy of that policy, and now we're in line to close that transaction. But I can't stress to you enough. I know that title insurance is kind of an oversight, and it's just typically seen as a line item and this charge that I never get anything for. But like your homeowner's insurance, title insurance is exceptionally important in safeguarding typically the largest purchase of your life. And so you need to make sure that you have that final title policy handy so that if any issues arise, you've got that title company that's going to be able to stand up for you and deal with any court issues that may arise. So that's just my advertisement for today for purchasers to protect themselves.
Yeah, Coey, I mean, we've worked with you for several years now, and one of the things that you have taught us is that what you're talking about right now, and it's how important it is. And I have even had, for those who don't know, most of you do, but for those who don't, on the listing side, they tend to pick the title company. And so the buyers don't have a choice unless the realtor knows what's happening and can ask to have that switch to a different title company.
Yeah.
And I've actually done that several times. I've had several buyers where the title company just I didn't trust it, and they're going to be taking care of the insurance policy, and it's just not okay. So I definitely have switched that before, and I've actually had Heritage Title take over. Now, for some reason, even when they're using a title company that is not quite satisfactory, the listing agent still tends to have an upper hand because they can say no and not accept our offer because we are requesting to switch to a different title company. So there are some give and takes that you have to make during that offer to try to still look good to the listing agent, and not that we're trying to be complicated or anything like that from the buy side. It's just that we're really looking out for a buyer, and it's really important. And Coey, you've really ingrained that in our brains, and it's something that we really, really take seriously.
Well, kudos on you, because unfortunately not all realtors do pay attention to that aspect of the process. And it's incredibly important to safeguard your buyer's transaction because like this gentleman, he could have been in a world of hurt had we not tracked down that final policy. And thankfully it worked out.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but you know, you got to surround yourself by the right people, right? That is be
absolutely. For title insurance, it's not only about the expertise and experience, but financial stability is incredibly important.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Coey.
Thanks, Coey.
Who should go next? Julie, do you want to go next?
Absolutely. Hi, good afternoon.
Welcome.
I apologize for my yawning. I took my parents to the airport at 5 o'clock this morning, and I've been nonstop all through the day. So I apologize for that. Thank you so much for having us back. Home inspection is really important if you are buying. It can also be important if you're selling, so that you can get your pre-list inspection and have that home looked at by a professional who's going to tell you what the buyers are going to see, so that those items can be addressed ahead of time and make sure that's taken care of. On the buy side, you are, as Coey said, this is a really huge investment and you want to have that looked at. So get a home inspector in there with that third set of eyes who they know what they're looking for. They're going to check your radon mitigation system. And even though you probably told me that you don't want a radon test, I will highly encourage that. Because even with a radon mitigation system, have you heard the humming of the fan? Have you checked the YouTube? Do you know that that is working? The YouTube on your manometer of your radon mitigation system, not the same as the YouTube that you watch on the computer. And then those are the two things. These are the two things that I am focusing on with my social media right now: is your radon mitigation, making sure that that is running and working, and then also your sump pump. Those are two systems in a home that most people, yeah, you might know that you.
Julie, you froze.
You
Julie, are you there?
Okay.
All right, we're having technical difficulties. We'll have to come back.
Okay. Yeah, let's just move on to someone else for now.
And I say, Maggie, what's going on in your world?
Okay, I am Maggie Turner with National Home Guaranteed, and thank you for having me. What I am seeing now, things are thankfully picking up quite a bit, which is good, because not everybody gets a home warranty on their on the buyer side or the seller side. You know, I'd say it's maybe not even 50%, which is kind of like pulling teeth to really let everybody know how important a home warranty is. It's really good to have a home warranty on the listings because we have the free listing coverage. So nobody pays anything. I suggest putting on the top of the line coverage, our $500 special. It covers the pre-existing unknown, which could be a crack in the heat exchanger, which will sometimes never be found. I don't know if inspectors, what they do exactly with the furnace. I'm not sure there, but listing coverage is always good. If it is turned into a home warranty, it's really good for the buyer. So say the listing's been on for 2 or 3 weeks, then it gets transferred to the buyer and then something breaks. Hey, we know it's been working for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, which is really good. A lot of agents, we've been running into this a lot, they put on a home warranty kind of to cover problems that come up in inspection. And that's not what a home warranty is designed for, because most of those things are going to be pre-existing anyway. And we do have pre-existing unknown, but it's totally different than pre-existing. So pre-existing, like I said, could be a crack in the heat exchanger where nobody knows about it. So we've had some agents lately that just put on a home warranty and they go, well, for the sellers, they'll put it on and then just say, okay, we'll offer home warranty. And then the buyers get in, things break, and things have already been, I don't know how, but sometimes they pass inspection, because then we get the problems and then everybody is really mad at us when it's denied, of course. So like I said, don't use a home warranty to cover what might come up in inspection. And we also work with lenders for Sarah and Mike. If there's any ever credit left that needs to be used, you can put a home warranty on. Say you have $600 and you only want to do a $400 warranty. We can send that extra $200 back to the buyer. Or we could bank it for them and then they can use it towards rekey. They can use it towards a claim. We work with a lot of lenders, and sometimes I've had up to $1,500, $2,500 that we've put, say, a 3-year home warranty on and used all that money. So we can work it out where we can use, whatever needs to be used instead of losing it. So, and then with our, we do offer a great 4-year new construction warranty that costs less than $200 a year. I think every new construction should have it. It starts the 2nd year and goes to years 2, 3, 4, and 5. And our deductible is the lowest one out there, $45. We've had that for over 30 years. We don't charge for homes over 5,000 square feet. A lot of companies do. Like I said, we have the free listing coverage. We have 24/7 customer service. Somebody calls the office at 10 o'clock at night, they'll get a live person. So I think we have great customer service, and you get to work with me. So thank you.
Maggie, I have a question for you about those. How are you guys identifying what's pre-existing and what's not as far as coverage is concerned?
A lot of times it's up to the technician. It's since I don't work in claims, I don't know all the instances, but sometimes people, they'll call within 24 hours and say, oh, this just broke, but we know it was broken before.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, it's always good to have our pre-existing unknown coverage, which is an extra $100. Some people, it's too pricey for them and they don't want to get it. Otherwise, we have a 20-day wait period once a buyer gets in the home. If you have that pre-existing unknown, that 20-day goes away. And the same with the listing coverage. So if you have listing coverage and you just say, have our $400 policy on and you don't have the pre-existing, you do have a 20-day wait period there. But if you put on the top of the line with the pre-existing, then there is no wait period.
Okay, thanks. Well, to everybody that's listening, Amy and I are big proponents of home warranties. We've always had them on our house, and we've used them before, and we always recommend them to our clients, to our buyers. We'll even sometimes buy them for them.
Especially our first-time home buyers.
Yeah, and
Right.
they come in extremely handy. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, Maggie. It's like any other insurance, right? And Chloe, you mentioned the same thing. It's like, insurance, sometimes people feel like it's a waste, like, oh gosh, I'm never going to use this. And maybe they don't. Maybe they never need it. But when you need it, it's awesome. They're awesome. They do a great job of following through with their claims. So
we got a whole new AC unit on our last house because it failed in like a year into owning it, and we just added a little more money and upgraded it, and so it was just a very minute cost to us, and we got this amazing AC units, that was it's just so worth it. And especially when we have first-time home buyers who it's their first house and they don't really know how to maintain anything, and they don't really know anything about anything really because they've been in an apartment their whole life.
They don't know how expensive homeownership is.
And so
they have no clue.
they have any surprises, and it's like, I swear, it's like a thing. You buy a house, something breaks down.
Yeah.
It just is.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. And so we really try to at least help out a little bit on that, in that aspect for them, because it's just crazy. It can be expensive. And
mainly we were trying to mitigate the calls back to us after the closings.
Exactly.
Well played, Kevin. Well played.
right.
So cool. Thanks, Maggie.
Thanks, Maggie. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have John on the phone still. Can we hear him, Rachel?
Yeah, he's on speaker. John, can you hear everyone?
John
I
Karowski.
can hear some of you, not all.
Okay,
Can you guys
can all
hear
hear me.
John?
Yes.
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, John, they can hear you. Are you ready for John to speak?
Yeah.
John,
Have him
let's,
introduce himself to me.
you want to introduce yourself, John, and tell them who you are and about your company and what you're seeing during COVID, any ups or
Sure.
downs?
My name is John Karowski. I'm the owner of Karowski Custom Homes Remodeling. Marilyn and I, my wife, have owned the business for the past 43 years. We specialize in a pretty wide range of custom homes and remodeling. And what we've seen the last 8 weeks in terms of an impact of COVID is that a lot of the buyers or slash homeowners who are interested in remodeling, that pipeline was plugged for many reasons. Some was due to investment concerns, 401k concerns, or just the overall health concerns for their families or their company employees. We are starting to see a release of some of that pipeline now. And the other thing that we have clearly watched closely is the pipeline supply for our vendors and manufacturers. And that has varied between cabinet people, appliance people, tool people, to a varying degree. And some of them have been surprised that when they checked with their suppliers, that they were running into similar kinds of issues. And we won't know for sure for about 6 weeks whether that supply line is going to get back to normal. The reason for that is that the manufacturers who have said we can deliver something in 6 or 8 weeks aren't very confident because there may be glitches in their supply line. So what we have done is we've advised the homeowners of the jobs that we're working on to prepare them for the potential delay in our ability to finish based upon the manufacturers and vendors being able to deliver on a normal, timely basis. The other thing that has impacted us is being prepared to continue to work in homeowners' homes. We're all wearing masks. Social distancing is not possible in all cases because sometimes the employees have to work together, live together, where social distancing is not possible. We have a hard time finding enough sanitizer and sanitizer wipes to keep on the jobs. If anybody has a good source for that, but typically we've been going into King Supers, Targets, Walgreens, and finding a lot of the shelves empty, or they're only allowing one container of sanitizer to a buyer. We understand that, but it doesn't help us making sure that we're always being able to have those items at the job site. We believe that in the next month or two will be a story that will tell a little bit more about what could happen in the next 6 months. We are cautiously optimistic of what could take place, but we're also not overly optimistic at all. I think the media overall has driven most of us into some kind of a fear corner that has been unnecessary, and that has caused a tremendous amount of concern and fear in a lot of people, and for the right reasons. So we see opportunity for a lot of companies coming back into the market are going to have great challenges in terms of how they're going to position their forecast for customers in the marketplace. And a lot of those independent homeowners like us are going to be looking at what their forecast might be compared to what their yearly forecast was last December, January. I think an example of that is we know restaurant owners that are real concerned about whether the customers are going to come back cautiously, whether they're going to come back at all, how they're going to limit the seating. But none of the restaurant owners that I have spoken to feel very confident about being able to keep up their book on the next 6 months like they expected to 6 months ago. But otherwise, we're working hard at doing what we can to help our owners become more confident in what we're doing in the workplace to help them, their families, and us stay more cautiously respective of the COVID opportunities. So that's about it. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for John?
Yeah, John, where's your business located? Is in Littleton?
Our office is in the Southwest Plaza complex in their office building near the Target. And it's a good location for us because we can get to C470 eastbound or westbound very easy. So we've been here for quite a few years. But we work throughout the metropolitan area, and we focus on, I would say, mostly in Douglas, Jefferson County, Arapahoe County. Sometimes we go to Boulder County, and the bulk of our work is all from rural people that we have worked with.
Well, I'm a really active member in the Northwest Douglas County Chamber of Commerce, and we do weekly city hall meetings with the sometimes governor, mayor, and all that kind of stuff. So you voicing that concern about potentially not having enough PPE for your yourself and your workers, I'm going to bring that up this week in our town hall meeting. It's on Wednesdays, and see what kind of resources that we can push off for you guys, because I know that there are some resources out there, and I would hate to see that come to a quick shortage for you guys when there's something that the community can do to help. So that's why I was also asking where you're located, so we could try to get those to you here pretty soon.
My daughter has a source for hand sanitizers, but you have to buy like a pallet or a truck. You have to buy a big quantity. I don't know if you would be interested in that, but I could get you in touch with her.
That's a really a great opportunity. What I'd like to suggest is if I could stay in touch with you on that, because we waste a lot of time going into Home Depot and Lowe's and the retail stores trying to pick that up. And the sanitizer is used quite a bit on the jobs. So I may reach out to some of my builder contacts and see if they're interested in that. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
John, I can get you sanitizer too. There's a place out here in Castle Rock. I can grab a couple gallons for you, as well as anyone else on the call. Just let me know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And some of the breweries are making it too. I don't know which ones, but I know there's several breweries and several distilleries making hand sanitizer.
Yeah, we have one of our leads started making our own sanitizers. The problem was we go to find the alcohol, and the alcohol was out. And we've even talked to the breweries. We've talked to some, not all, and they were making it, but they were not distributing it outside of their employees or their employees' families, and mainly for liability reasons. And I can understand that, because if somebody gets a hold of a sanitizer that is not labeled and approved, and something occurred first thing they think about is a lawsuit. So,
Sure.
but I did appreciate the brewery people talking to us about it. Anything that would be a help, we'd appreciate it.
Rachel, would you send everybody an email with the John's contact information so they can reach out to him?
Of course.
Thank you.
Carrie, did
John?
you have a question? You keep unmuting. I know you're mobile.
I do. I was just wondering, John, it's Terry with Max. I'm kind of curious. I've heard from some of my other contractors that they're getting pushback from their subs in regards to being on job sites. Have you seen any of that?
We have not. We have right up front. We talked to our trade contractors, and they were fully in support of what we were asking them to do, which we appreciate very much. If they would have said no, they were not going to do it, then our relationship would have changed, because our commitment is to our homeowners.
Right.
Also, we're concerned about the safety of our trade contractors. We do have what we refer to as a home safety program, which we've had in place for over 20 years. And so we're very conscious about the safety of our employees and our trade contractors.
Okay. Yeah, I heard from some of my other contractors, they had a little bit of pushback now that they're able to get PPE, excuse me. It doesn't seem to be quite as prevalent. So I was just kind of curious what you were seeing. So I'm glad to hear that.
You there, John?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
That's okay.
We'll connect you guys through email, but she said she was glad to hear that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add based on the conversations we've had so far?
Say, Julie, do you want to finish your thought now that you're back?
Julie?
Oh, yeah.
My goodness, I'm so sorry. It seemed that our internet went down real fast. So talking about the two systems in your home that you tend not to know about or check, that would be your radon mitigation and your sump pump. Give those a check. Follow me on social media so that you can see the videos that I'm posting about what you should do, or request that from me and I'll send it to you as well. Home inspection for us, we are following what title and mortgage and the Sallies are saying, that things are happening and it's fast. And yesterday I had 4 calls. We need the inspection by the 25th. I'm like, do y'all know what day it is? But yeah, we were able to do that. So the sooner you can inform us of needing a home inspection, the better we are able to serve you. But in a pinch, we can sometimes accomplish that as well. So thank you. I'm Julie with A Buyer's Choice Home Inspections.
Are you seeing any changes at all from the last time we talked from 2 weeks ago? You are seeing more activity. Is there anything else? Are you homeowners? Anything that you'd like to contribute on the COVID side?
It has been very interesting. When I take an inspection order, am being asked to make very interesting notes. Do not use hand sanitizer, only use hand sanitizer. Don't wear gloves. Always wear gloves, don't wear a mask, show up with a mask and full body covering. It's like, okay. So yeah, people with COVID are wanting everything from a full hazmat suit to show up as you are, don't worry about anything. So has it been impactful? More of the buyers are asking for the review of the inspection via Zoom or FaceTime. Okay. And a lot of people are asking that we are wearing at least a face covering. So that's about the only impact we're seeing on that. Big range or FaceTime and Zoom reviews.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Are we good?
I don't have anything. That was great.
This was a really good one. I have enjoyed this. I feel like it's a really good way to get perspective from all different angles in the industry. And I'd like to continue it. And so we will do this again in 2 weeks, Thursday at 4. And I just want to continue this. I just want to talk through this and get what everybody's, hearing and seeing within their own business. I feel like it's extremely valuable. And people who are not in the industry have no idea. They have no idea what to expect or what to think, or know anything. So thank you all for coming on and being, here regularly. We appreciate it. If you know of somebody else that you think would be a really good fit for these calls, feel free to send them to Rachel, and we can, figure out a get them on too. I think it was really nice to have John on, getting his perspective from the new home builder, and obviously lending and title and inspections and home warranty. All that is really great too. So we really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for taking the time to be online with us.
Thank you, Kevin and Amy.
Thanks, guys.
Yes,
Can't
thank
Thank
you.
wait to
you.
see you in real life and hug you.
Yes, lots of hugs.
I love you guys.
And virtual hugs.
Everybody have a great Memorial Day.
All right.
You
You
too.
too, Terry. Thanks.
Thanks.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.